Hello, creepies and crawlies, and welcome back to another live recording of Ice Cream Queens. We are so excited about this show tonight. We have two spectacular guests that we will be bringing in just a moment. I do have my goat with me, but I'm really going to lean more towards the rubber chicken tonight. I feel like that's a better option with our crew of guests that we have. And why don't we go ahead and bring in Lauren?
Oh, the rubber chicken.
The rubber chicken, it's my favorite.
Better than the squeaky toy joke that I was making yesterday.
Ooga, ooga. Yeah, that was. So,
great time to bring this up. Yeah.
I know.
Do you want me to read it? You got it.
You can go ahead because I can't see anything because I don't have on glasses.
All right. Warning, this show may contain strong language or disturbing topics, which may be unsuitable for children, and unusual humor, which may be unsuitable for adults.
Yeah, that's pretty much us every day of the week. We're just unsuitable for everything.
I don't know. Now I feel like we should do a photo shoot in suits. The unsuitable photo shoot in suits. I'm doing like crazy things that are unsuitable for public consumption, but we're like in suits.
The things that we do. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. Let's. It's a habit. This is happening.
This is I don't have to do it. I'm gonna have to. I have to find something to go over the front.
So I was trying to load a picture when my audio, my video, and everything just kind of went to crap a few minutes ago. So I didn't get to load some of the images. You and I actually had a blast yesterday.
It was really fun.
Yeah, we were invited to host the Piranha Room at MCFC, which is a local con, Mid-South.
Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. I kept saying Mid-South too because I'm so used to Mid-South Convention. But it's Memphis. I looked it up because I was like, I know they have a thing to tag them. Where are they? Oh, it's Memphis, not Mid-South. Okay.
Well, and you know what? We're so used to calling it MCFC. It's like for years and years and years, it's been MCFC, and this is kind of the go-to reference for that particular event. And it's a fun event. But
it was fun.
Last year, they decided to bring in this Piranha Room, which is a big, giant goth dance party. And so we got to kind of go do some of that. And it was a lot of fun. So, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Less glow sticks this year, which was great for me because last year that was a whole fun issue.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to go over it real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so I have children. My youngest is 5. So last year they were 4. Now this Gothic dance night, it's family friendly. Like it's all ages because it's at a convention. So we brought along our then 4-year-old, and there were glow sticks. Glow sticks everywhere. So exciting. Someone taught her you can like make a chain of the glow sticks to make a big long line. And she was super into like ribbon dancing at the time. So she kept trying to like run around and ribbon dance with this thing. Well, glow sticks don't ribbon dance. They turn into like a deadly weapon. They turn into a whip. And so she's running through the crowd, dancing her butt off, whipping like every person in the crowd.
Well, we can just say she's getting her practice in now for Catwoman in the future.
I guess. So I had to be the mean mom, and I had to be like, okay, that's no more glow sticks. And I had to take away the glow sticks. But everyone in the audience just felt so bad. And they're like, oh, she doesn't have any glow sticks. Everyone just kept giving her their glow sticks. And so it was just like, I take away the glow sticks. Random people I don't know give her more glow sticks. I take away the glow sticks, more glow sticks. By the end, we had this giant pile of glow sticks I think I had like every person's glow stick. They were supposed to take them home with them. It was door prize. No, my child had a giant pile hidden in the corner that I had to take away from her all night. So yeah, less glow sticks this year. That was great.
That is absolutely amazing. So I don't know if we were able to. Sounds like DL with Fireball. Yes. Everybody takes. Geek Gumshoe is always like, please don't give her Fireball. Please don't give her Fireball. And people sneak me shots of Fireball because they know there's a fine line between. I don't know if you're at all familiar with this, but there's a fine line between. I've had a couple of drinks and I have very, very well exceeded my limit. And it's usually somewhere between a couple of glasses of wine followed by a shot or two of Fireball. Yeah. Yeah, Fireball is not my friend. Never, ever, ever. So, oh look, here's some pictures of us.
Hey, yeah. So I went as Gothic Miss Frizz. My husband and I worked on 2 days to make my hair orange. So we
Yay,
Gothic
Joey!
Frizz. Yay, Joey! Thank
Yay.
you.
Okay. But we also, in preparation for this today, we actually ran into a cosplayer that was doing a comic. There it is. There it is.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was fun. That was
Yes.
an amazing cosplay. Like you could
Oh
not
my
see, I don't know
gosh.
how they saw out of it. Or maybe I'm just short, but were they on stilts or are they just that tall or am I just that short or is this a combination of all? Nope, they're in sandals. I'm just
Oh,
that
okay.
okay.
We can see the
Cool.
toes now. All right. No.
Foot pick. That's
I don't think we're supposed to
that's
do this
someone's
anymore.
king. Someone is just like, I need Swamp Thing foot picks. I need. Okay, I'm just saying, like that picture
Yeah.
just made someone's day out there. Very happy.
Probably so. Okay,
We do have a topic.
we do have a topic and we do have some awesome guests. Let's go ahead and bring in our first guest. We're doing this strictly by alphabetically because these are both phenomenal artists. Okay. Hi, Sawyer. Hi,
Sawyer's
Joey.
orange too.
Oh, yay, fun. So let's go ahead and bring in Eli. And I don't know.
Eli.
Hello.
How are you
Hey.
doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
Oh, wonderful.
That's amazing.
So
I love the glasses, by the way. I meant to tell you before we got on the show, but those are amazing. Oh my God, they have little skulls.
the skulls in them. Oh,
in
okay.
them.
Those are even better.
Right?
Yes.
You can't see that from far away, but up close, that's pretty kick-ass.
So, for those of you who don't know, and if you've been watching our show and you don't know Eli, I don't know how in the world you can claim you're watching our show because Eli is basically part of our show every week, whether
Always there.
always there, and he is just a phenomenal person to just kind of have in the comments, but also we're excited to have you as a guest. So, Eli, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, a little bit about me. A little bit about me.
It's always when you get asked that question, you're like, yes, I
Yes. Okay.
exist.
Yes. I am Eli Cass. Johnny calls me Danger Carney for some reason. Oh wait, that's right. I gave myself that moniker a long time ago. Anyway.
With the Ghoul of Gallatin?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I gave myself that moniker too for personal reasons, but hey, it is what it is. But
Okay.
Oh no, I
besides all that-
completely understand the introductions with the many names. No one knows what to call me. They're like G4 Geeky Lauren. That's Lauren. Yeah.
It was me.
But besides all that, I am the Maverick of the cereal boxers. I'm back at the cereal box.
Mm-hmm.
If you know me from the comment section, hey, if you know, you know. But more importantly, I'm doing a grimdark fantasy comic book series set within Johnny's Diggleverse series called Winches and Wormholes, and it's sort of like a more of a parody to a lot of the grimdark tropes. It's like Suicide Squad meets Game of Thrones,
but with like all of the old school like Grimm's characters, or
grimdark, like think of all the popular grim dark fantasy shows like Game of Thrones and The Witcher, but with a more tongue-in-cheek twist. It's like I said, it's like James Gunn hijacks Game of Thrones or The Witcher. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that does sound awesome. So I'd like to go ahead and also bring in our next special guest. And you guys actually have not had the opportunity to really meet and interact yet. So
All right, cool.
this is Jonathan McDaniel. Hey, Jonathan.
Hello.
How are
Hello.
you doing?
I am wonderful.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Please give us a kind of a brief overview about who you are. We know who you are.
I am Jonathan. I'm a artist. I love doing I lean toward more the dark side of art, not particularly because it's dark, but dark is okay, So
Oh, yeah.
that's the way I feel, So there's nothing wrong with it, and I like the horror comics, horror genre. I just that's my avenue. That is where I like to go. Even when I try to get away from it, I get pulled back in.
I met Jonathan through DL because we all wind up at the same conventions a lot. And DL already knew Jonathan, but she's just like, "Oh, you know this person," and I'm like, and she's like, "You know him," and I'm like, "I have no idea." And then it was just like, "Oh no, now you know who that is now, and now this is welcome to the Con family. This is part of that." And it's just kind of been like, "Oh no, that's John." Ever since then, so every time we're like, "Oh, dude," and he's just grown as to be part of us.
Oh, I feel like I've known y'all forever.
I know.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure. You're fine. I'm gonna. Yep, let's do that. Okay. So when he comes back in, we'll pop him back in. Okay. And so Jonathan, so we're having
all of the tech issues today. Sorry.
We really are. So when we do have a photo of us with Jonathan at the last con. So
that's right.
When he was our employee of the month. So
it's the best photo ever, by the way.
Oh no, we agree.
I love it.
Happened to notice that he was wearing a blue and white striped shirt, and I was in the Wendy's cosplay, which is blue and white stripes, and I was like,
"White stripes,
my apron. You need this apron." And we threw the Wendy's apron on him, and the employee of the month.
Ta-da!
It was meant to be.
So we're going to go ahead and kind of start this conversation, and when Eli comes back in, we're going to jump back in, and we're probably going to reach back out to him and ask him some of the same questions. So, but the first thing that I really want to do is just ask, what do you consider to be your the definition of a horror comic? Because there's so many out there like The Crow, which are darker themed comics, but some might not necessarily consider those to be horror.
And also, do you consider The Crow a horror comic? Just throw that one out there.
Yeah. Let us know.
I actually I consider the Crow to be a romance comic. I believe it's a romantic comic.
Okay.
I don't see it. I don't see it so much as horror. I think it's more of it's a heartbroken. It's a very sad comic book about lost love. As far as a horror comic, I love anything that's got that grittiness, that grainy, old school 80s, early 90s feel to it. I really like. I don't know if Vampirella is considered a horror comic, but I love the black and white feel to that, and that's what I've always been. Oh, there she is.
Yep.
Now this is your
snuck right in there, didn't she?
Yeah, she totally did. Yes, go ahead, Eli.
I'm sorry. I want to go ahead and point out that Vampirella, she's going into her 6th decade. She's been going for 6 decades. And she's,
amazing.
She is getting close to issue number 666.
Well, they better make that like a really good issue. There's no way they can skip that and just make it like a glaze over. That's got to be an epic story right there.
No.
So DL, can you? I know 666. DL, can you repeat the full question so Eli can answer too?
Yes, Eli. So the question at hand is, what do you consider to be the definition of a horror comic? And what I commented on was that there are many comics like The Crow, which are darker themed, but many really just don't. A lot of people don't consider that to be a horror comic, and so we were just kind of curious, what is your definition of a horror comic?
Oh, that's a very, very subjective thing right there. I mean, I could name anything on the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure some nerd on the internet's gonna be like, actually, Oh
They
man.
always do. They always do. But you know what? On this show, we're allowed our opinions, and that's all we're asking of you. The
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay.
What do you think?
All right, okay. If I gotta say the comic that really started all with the horror genre, it's gotta be Tales from the Crypt.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a very classic. I mean, you think of horror, period. It could be TV shows, movies, comics, and Tales of the Crypt is going to be in that subject line somewhere along the way. The Crypt
Totally
Keeper
agree.
and all of that is just such an iconic part of the horror movement into more of a mainstream.
Now, to be fair, there were more grisly horror comics before that.
Mhm.
I couldn't really quite name a few. I mean, I could picture some. Okay,
Yeah.
I could picture some, but Tales of the Crypt or From the Crypt or however you pronounce it, that really set the bar right there.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, Creep Show, I do believe, was a classic
Mm.
vintage horror comic, and I think they were very similar in design. And one of the things that I find interesting is that a lot of that art design came directly from almost pulp novels. Like you would get these old detective novels, and there was a whole line of horror related ones as well. And that art style kind of fell into that that kind of whole feeling.
Mm-hmm. When I think of horror comics, the first thing I think of is just the gore. Like, so many comics out there have a dark undertone. I mean, Batman, we were talking about The Crow earlier. But when it comes to horror comics, I really just think like you think of a comic and you just see that red splatter that like they write out the noise or whatever.
Definitely.
That's what I think of as the gore that comes with it. I know a lot of people are going to think more classic, like, oh, well, there's vampires in it, so it's horror, or there's zombies in it, so it's horror. I can argue for or against that, depending on the comic on either side. So,
Agreed.
like a lot of people would call Walking Dead horror. I would agree with that, but a lot of people would be like, oh, no, that's a drama.
Now, what's really, really amazing about Tales of the Crypt is how they dance around the bush when it comes to gore. Like, it's like these people who are in charge of these censors and everything, who has to like breathe down the necks of all the authors, all the creators and everything. It's just like, okay, you don't want us to have blood coming from this one zombie's eyes? Okay, we'll just have maggots. Yeah.
Love that.
Jonathan's over here making a face. He's just like,
I'm taking it all in. I love it.
Okay, so my next question was going to be open to either one of you. Jonathan, let's start with you since we started with you originally. So, at what age did you discover the world of horror and start developing your interests?
Okay, I think I was like maybe 13 or 14, and I went over to my best friend's house, and everybody went to sleep. He's like, I've got to show you this movie. I was like, yeah, but it's rated R. He's like, yeah, well, everybody's asleep, so it's okay. And so, like, waited till everybody went to sleep. Yeah, that was the rule. That was the rule. So everyone went to sleep, and he was like, I was like, well, what's it called? He said, it's called The Lost Boys. And that was it. That was it. I was sucked in. That and I was sucked in.
Yeah. That is.
So
I was infatuated with David. So
that's a great,
weren't we all?
First horror movie. That's a pretty good one.
So one of the things that I'm going to share is as we're popping up images, we're going to try to, especially when we start talking about movies, if we pop something up early, like the last two images that we popped up, which were Vampirella and David, are both creations from Jonathan. Now, obviously, David was created based off of Kiefer Sutherland. However, so Jonathan, you are also a portrait artist and you work a lot with cosplayers. And I have to ask because I'm looking at the Vampirella, and I don't think that is the comic version. I think this might be actually someone you know.
Yes. Okay. Actually, that's Maddie Huffman. She's been a model that I've used as a muse for most of my vampires, I did Rise of Dracula, I believe, last year, and she was I based the victim off of her, and anytime I'm looking for a horror victim / blood, she's like, oh hey, guess what, I'll do it. So
I'll do it.
so that's the way that went. So it's pretty neat.
So Eli, same question round to you. What was your like introduction into the horror? How old were you and how'd you get into it?
Okay, I gotta be really honest with you. I had a really tough time with horror when I was a kid. It was like a love-hate relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like I was kind of a sheltered kid. You can't really blame me for getting scared and everything, And
No.
If I got as far as like horror goes, I think I finally broke free from my scaredy catness when I started watching the movie, the 1999 movie, The Mummy and everything.
Oh, that's
the Brendan Fraser one?
Yes.
Yes. Phenomenal movie.
Such a good movie. And the CG on the mummies and all of that are, that was one of the ones that you watched and you're like, whoa. But you go back and watch it now and you're like, they could have done better. But at the time, it was so good looking.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what kind of possessed me to like get over horror after that. I guess the thought of some dude kicking monster's butt and everything, it kind of broke me out of that cell,
Yeah, it's almost a way to like protect yourself from the scary is watch them kick the scary's butt.
Well,
Nice.
and I'm a firm believer that everybody is introduced to genres at different ages, and you have people like Lauren's youngest who has popped in on our show a couple of times, sometimes unexpected, but she is she's a horror junkie already. I mean, we were at this con yesterday and she was walking around and she's like, oh, like that's Chucky. She actually reached up and grabbed a pen, and Lauren's like, oh, no, we got to pay for that. But it was the cutest thing ever. But it's like she gravitates to Annabelle. She gravitates to Chucky. But she's obviously very comfortable with the idea of horror. My youngest was also very comfortable with horror. However, my oldest was very uncomfortable and very scared. Even 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, and a lot of people already know this, but my youngest child actually was doing the Haunted Web of Horrors this past holidays or Christmas season. maybe
I want a Haunted
Christmas.
Web of Horrors Christmas edition. Oh my gosh.
There is one coming. But she did the Halloween haunt, and my oldest child she's like, nope, not going to go to it. I'm like, your sister's working again. She goes, nope. Even more reason I'm not going to go to it. But, so everybody is kind of introduced.
Scary sometimes.
Do what?
Siblings are scary sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about it. Oh, my God.
So, I'm just throwing this out there. So we're just, wild. What is the first horror comic that you ever remember purchasing?
Me? Or
anyone?
Either or.
Nope. I'll go first.
Okay. Lauren.
Me. I'm gonna actually go with the one I mentioned earlier, Walking Dead. There is a family legend that somehow I'm related to the writer of The Walking Dead. No clue how, or if it's even friggin' true, but it's like, oh no, your father's uncle's cousins, blah 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 blah, many times down the road is like neighborly friends with, and I was just like, oh, that's so cool. And so I had to buy all of it and read all of it. So that was mine.
Okay, before we jump into somebody else, I'm being reminded that we have an audience participation question that kind of fields into this. What horror comic would you recommend for us to read? Please leave your comments in the comment section. So, and we will definitely look into them.
Where are they going to leave it, DL? Leave the comments.
It's been a long
love you.
weekend.
I
know
love
you do. I'm still wearing glow in the dark makeup. So, Jonathan.
Well, don't lick my face next time. Dang.
We're just
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's totally a thing.
It's a whole thing. I have a picture of her with glowing lips because she licked the neon makeup off of my face. Just throwing that out there.
I didn't mean to lick it off your face. I mean to lick it off. I was like, I'm trying to lick your eyeball.
Oh man.
Okay, speaking of horror. Oh, the horror of it. Okay, sorry. All right, Jonathan. First horror comic.
Okay, it wasn't necessarily a horror comic. It was a clip out of Heavy Metal magazine, and it was some black and white story, and it was about this cave woman. I wish I could know. I can't even recall the name of the short story, but it was some short story, black and white, piece about this cave woman, and these things were coming out of the cave. It had this Descent feel to it, and that was like, this is really cool. I like this. I don't know where it's going, but I like the feel of it. But I need to look and see if I can hunt that down. But that's what got me into it as a heavy metal story.
That sounds amazing. I don't know why when you're talking about it, I keep thinking it's in black and white. Like, it's probably not. Probably in color.
It was. No, it was.
Did
it
you
was
say black
definitely.
and white earlier? Maybe that's why I was thinking it. I don't know.
I loved Heavy Metal magazine so much. I mean, had all of those. You had Heavy Metal magazine. I also loved magazine and all of that stuff too. So, I mean, that was kind of all of the things that I enjoyed. Eli, what about you? What was your first horror comic that got you into it?
Okay, if we're talking horror, and I guess it goes hand in hand with The Mummy, I'm gonna have to go with Hellboy.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's like Hellboy and Mike Mignola. Oh man, it's like one huge rabbit hole, because it's like I've seen so many artists who worked on it. There was like this one. There was this like one horror artist who did the artwork to the Crooked Man, called his name was Richard Corbin. Oh man, I love his take on Hellboy. I love his horror comics too. Like I said, Hellboy was like one huge rabbit hole for me. And when I looked into Richard Corbin's work on a Facebook group named after him, I'm just like, I love Mike Mignola and I love Richard Corbin. And it's like Richard Corbin, he's like done some very, very grisly horror, horror artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember for the life of me the title of this one. I think it's called Tales from the Grave, and there are all
that
these
sounds familiar.
There are all these like one-page horror stories. It's a comic. It's a omnibus that has like one-page horror stories, and it's like all these people meeting very, very grisly ends. You got this like bone collector who takes great pride with his bone collecting work. Like he has like a bucket full of maggots, and deep flesh on the bones. And a robber came in, started robbing his stuff, and tied up the bone collector, knocked over the maggots, and the maggots were like slowly coming up to him. It's like it doesn't actually eat the guy, but you can almost imagine what's going to happen to him and everything.
Ooh.
Ew.
Yes.
Ew.
Oh.
Okay. So you went, you jumped, you went, it's like, oh, I'm going to watch The Mummy, and then I'm going to go into the most grisly thing I can find to
yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Feet first. Or wait, feet first, head first. There we go. One of those firsts.
So my favorite, my first one that I remember, and I don't know if I guess I'm going to call it a horror comic, but Innovation, like many years ago, probably like in the late 80s, early 90s, I'm going to say early 90s, came out with a Vampire Chronicles series, which was the Anne Rice. It was Interview with the Vampire I think they started with the Vampire Lestat, and then they went back and did Interview with a Vampire. I don't know if they ever made it to Queen of the Damned, but I have a lot of the comics, if not the entire collection of the Vampire Lestat and Interview with a Vampire, but also have like a lot of the covers. Amazing. Yeah.
Can I borrow that? I didn't know that was a thing. And it's always like really bothered me because the Vampire Lestat was my favorite book of all of the books. But every single time they make a movie in that or a show of that, they always skip over. They're like, that one. They they take the interview with the vampire, and they take the Queen of the Damned. They're just like, just these two. That's fine. Let's just that one's not necessary. And I was like, that was my favorite one. So if there's a whole ass comic of just that, I have got to read that.
I think I actually have the after all of the books, all of them were released, because I didn't know if I had every one of them initially, but I had the large I had the compilation of them as well. So I will. Hey George, I will dig that out and let you borrow it. It was beautifully done, and Jonathan, you would absolutely love it. Oh my God!
I'm stuck to the phone right now, just listening to this.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a borrow train.
Yes. I love her. I do. I still do. I'm just infatuated.
Anne Rice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, very, very, very much so. That was one of my inspirations.
Well, you actually have a really, really cool Anne Rice story too.
I want to hear the Anne Rice story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I was this was a long time ago. Back when the phones had cords, and
what?
And we had if there's any younger people like, well, they had this thing called caller ID, and it would show like who was calling. And anyway, I had sent Anne Rice a portrait I did of her Sleeping Beauty Chronicles, and which I read everything that she's done, and it was a bit more taboo than the Vampire Chronicles. just was a smidge, just a smidge. A smidge. And I sent it to her. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Just a smut.
Just a smut.
Just a smut. Yeah.
I'm having technical issues.
Oh, you're good.
Technical issues. Okay, go ahead. Keep on going.
Someone says the word smut, and we're all just like, what? Okay.
Smut.
Okay, anyway, sorry. Continue with your story. Don't say smut. Don't say smut. Sorry. Yeah?
Smudge.
Just a smidge. That's
smidge.
where we were.
Holy smidge.
Okay. You sent her the picture.
Yes. She sent me a smidge. And I'm gone.
You sent her the picture of the Beauty Chronicles.
Was there a phone call?
Yes, there was a phone call. I got a phone call. Anyway, this was back before Stan had passed away. And on the caller ID, it came up Anne and Stan Rice, and it rang, and I read. I was asking Julie, my wife. I was like, "What do I do?" She's like, "Well, you may want to answer it." I was like, "Okay." So I answer it, and I talked to her, and she was just so soft spoken, and just told me how much she appreciated it, and she sent me a picture of her autographed picture of her, along with a picture of her home where the witching hour was written, and she told me to keep going and to not give up, and I keep that right beside my art my art desk. So anytime I get discouraged or anything, I was like, well, she pushed me into what I'm doing, and very, very blessed with that memory.
That is amazing.
Actually, I have a suggestion for you if you haven't done this already, because in addition to doing like the comic arts with, because you were talking about the Rise of Dracula, which is one of the ones that you work on. Have you considered doing a portrait of Anne to send now, especially now that she has recently passed, to send to her son?
I don't know. I am friends with her son on Facebook. That is a great idea.
That's
Christopher.
really cool.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm friends with Christopher. So
yeah,
of course he never. I never hear from him. We don't.
Yeah.
But
no, it's like I get it.
But still,
you're friends online.
We have a few of those.
Yeah, right. Like, let's.
Yeah.
Hey guys, whenever Jonathan sends this thing, we should make a post and everybody tag Christopher in it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes.
Well,
that's a
and
good idea.
there's a Vampire Lestat fan club as well that that Anne actually used to be very active online in.
Mm-hmm. I'll make like a video and be like, "Hey, I need your help."
Hey, no, that would be great.
We have a plan.
Speaking of has anybody watched the new Chronicles that has came out?
I've watched half of it. I haven't watched the second half, but I've watched the first half.
You've watched the first half, so
yeah.
So I just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Sure, yeah. Let's go off topic. Let's do it.
No, we're good. Yeah,
I love the upgrades. I know a lot of people were so mad, and I originally didn't like it. Like, I heard about it before I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, why would they age Claudia up that much?" We even talked about it on the show before, because Claudia was based off of Anne's actual daughter who had passed, who she was, what, DL, like 4, 3?
Yeah, she was 4 or 5.
Super young, yeah. And they aged her up for the movie so an actress could actually portray the character well, which amazing job in the Interview with the Vampire movie that Kirsten Dunst, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten Dunst did, like, great. And then I got why they aged her up that much, so they could have an actress like portray the emotions they needed. And then I heard they were aging her up even more. And then I think I misheard stuff because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, she's 18 in this next one," and I was like, "What?" But I think that was incorrect. I think that was like, oh no, that was the age of the actress, not the age of the character. Other than that, like, even just watching it, when they did age her up more in the TV show, but they changed so much about it. They changed the time frame that the character, like, everything was happening in. They changed Louis's backstory, and now he's an owner of okay, see you in a second, Eli. They changed Louis's backstory, and I loved that they're upgrading the characters. I really, really did. And I loved that her son worked with her on this, and he was like in on the storyline. They were communicating together on what she wanted, so whenever she did pass, he could help move things along. Because if you keep the classics are classics, they're great. I love classics, but if you don't update them, that's why there's Frankenstein, and then suddenly there's the Bride of Frankenstein. Next thing you know, there's Young Frankenstein, which is completely different. It's a comedy. It's, if things don't change and progress and update, they get stale. And I love that they saw that in other things and went, we should do that, and worked towards it.
It's a great answer. Great.
I don't mind them. I don't mind taking liberties with content. It's one of those things where I believe a lot of times, as long as the author of is consulted, and I know that once you sign over the rights to Hollywood, a lot of times you do lose the ability to be able to say, how things are going to change. And maybe, I would like to think that maybe the aging of Claudia was to separate that, because the book itself, because in the book, Claudia is very young as well, is probably within that same age frame that her daughter was, and she was depicted 100% as being her daughter. So I would like to think that maybe this was a way of her saying, I'm okay with this now. This is obviously, this was at the end of her life, and her daughter has been gone for quite a while. So maybe this was her way of saying, I'm okay with it. I have dealt with this, and I'm passing the reins to you, Christopher, and I'm going to let you proceed. So I will probably circle around and watch it. I've just because I am so attached to the original stories and the original books, it's very hard for me to kind of separate away from that.
I thought I was
Right.
going to be the same way. I really did, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it, and I'm gonna try really to come in with like fresh eyes, whole new story. And there are some things that I'm like, why would you do that? Like some of the stuff with Armand, I'm like, but you know what? I stopped in the middle. Right when there was a thing that happened. I'm not going to give away spoilers because you haven't watched it yet. But like I stopped right in the middle of the series. Armand stuff happened. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to know like where this is going. Am I using the right name? I feel like I'm getting the names mixed up.
Armand is the vampire in
Jonathan,
Paris.
am I saying the wrong person?
Okay, I
feel like I am.
Okay, Armand.
He was in the show.
Armand is the redheaded child from the book, who is over the theater of the vampires in Paris.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Right, that was I can't remember. Was he in the first season?
Okay, so if you're questioning it, then I think we're talking about the same thing. Okay.
Okay, all right.
And then the second season was going to probably play more into it that I haven't seen yet.
Yes.
No, okay. I'm talking about my brain. I'm going to the book. My brain is going to the book. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult, especially when like every single time
you're
see
right.
Armand, they're completely different. You read in the first book and he's like a redhead, etc. And then you watch the movie and it's Antonio Banderas with like super black, dark hair. And then later you watch Queen of the Damned and Armand is blonde and curly hair. And you're like, what? And then every single time you hear about a description or see Armand, they look completely different.
Oh, and I will be the first one to say
a man of many wigs. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be the first to say when Armand initially popped on the screen in the Tom Cruise version and it was Antonio Banderas. Do not get me wrong. I love Antonio Banderas. It's like absolutely just love him as an actor.
He's amazing.
But when I saw him, I'm like, that is not Armand.
Where's the red hair?
I sat there and sulked. As we do.
I would have been fine with him as Armand if they put like some red dye in the hair or a wig. Fine. But where's the red hair? Dang it. Okay, I'm done.
Do we have a topic?
We're talking about something here.
That was my fault.
Do have a topic.
I take blame for that one.
No, I'm taking blame for that. I am taking blame for that 100%.
I was like, I wasn't even here, but my bad.
Well, okay, so let's circle back around and get back on topic. Tell us a little bit. Let's go with Eli. Tell us a little bit about the current projects that you're working on.
Okay.
Current projects. Yes, that's exciting.
So yeah, the current project I am totally working on, totally not struggling. Yes. Man. Like I said, it's a grimdark fantasy parody comic set within the Deckleverse series done by John Pica, close friend of mine. You all know him. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah,
who is that again?
We should make that. Hang on. Wait. Let's do that line again and let me and Dale be like, wait, who? Because I would love to get like a little screen just of that and put that up online somewhere. From back of the cereal box. And I'm like, what?
Who is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's rewind. Let's rewind.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so I am working on a dark fantasy comic set within the Deckleverse series, which is penned by a familiar face by the name of John B. Pica.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Is this someone we know?
Yeah. Are we supposed to know who? Pike? Like
Pica?
Pike?
Is that like the eating disorder, Pica?
Probably. I mean, it's back of the cereal box, so I would guess. Pica,
I don't know what back of the cereal box means. I'm so lost here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Continue.
Okay.
On.
Go ahead.
We'll have to get a screen grab of that later.
Oh, we will.
Yeah. Long story short, okay, so it's a dark fantasy story set within the Dickleverse. It's it pretty much it's like, yeah. Daniel, you described it a few minutes ago.
I'm sorry. I do have a question about your thing. Oh, that's really cool. Is that what you're working on, or is that something separately?
Awesome.
Yeah, that is what I'm working on.
Oh, that's really. I love the
that's really
animation
cool.
style. I love the pixelated, like the polka dots on areas to do the shading. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Oh, those colors are great.
I know. All right, so of that, what is your favorite character that you're getting to do out of that, and why?
Oh.
Yes is going to be the answer. All of them.
Oh, yeah.
May as well be all of them.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Should we ask Jonathan? What are you doing? What are you up to?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yes.
Comic book wise, I just the Rise of Dracula.
Oh.
What's that?
Well, I was about to say, like, okay, go with the comic book, but also just like in general, what are you up to, I guess?
Oh
Hanging
wow,
out. I'm on a podcast right now. These chicks are
I'm
asking
hanging
some
out.
crazy questions.
Yeah, Rise of Dracula. That's Maddie again, by the way. And
okay.
there's a second one which is Reign of Dracula, which it goes to print this month.
Nice.
That's by Richard Davis. And I've got another comic. It's another vampire book, and it is it's the stories by Chris Hayes. And I better stop there.
Okay. Don't give up too much.
I don't want to get in trouble. So, but that's where I'm at right now.
So we're looking for a third vampire comic that was scripted by Chris Hayes and penned art or illustrated by you.
It's so many vampire things, but like that's for a reason. Vampires
cover art.
Speaking of
cover art, there's something tragic.
Yeah.
That clip to who's Johnny?
Who's Johnny?
Oh my gosh! We're so gonna do that.
Eli, you had something to throw in there? I saw the hand up.
Yes, Eli. Did you have a comment you were going to throw in?
I saw the hand. You had the hand going. What's up?
Okay, so I have a funny story about one character. Can you pull up that image again, please?
Sure.
Yeah. Give us a second. There we go.
Okay, there's this one particular elf character right in the center. Okay, now if I have to get into specifics of what character I like to cause trouble with, it's that one with the blue pigtails in center.
Oh, okay, like
in the green outfit
at the bottom.
Yes. Okay, when I started doing comics, I was at volunteer state community college and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I dipped my toe into comics as more of a college project, a college project and everything. And that one particular character, I had some fun with it, and I was just like, you know what? I wonder what's going to happen if I advertise that one character on the gazebo. And the gazebo is where like a lot of the more of the hippie clique shows up and everything. And
okay, I was about to ask, so thank you.
Okay, the gazebo. Okay, there's already like graffiti written in pen. Like there was like a lot of vulgarity on it already. Okay, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to advertise that character on the gazebo, and it was a big hit. Believe it or not, it was a big hit.
All right, please. I'm probably really ignorant here. Is the gazebo like some online thing, or are you talking about like an actual physical gazebo that people would just go and draw stuff on?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so you drew it like on the gazebo, the actual like physical place, and then what happened?
Okay, it was a big hit. I'm not okay because
cool.
like there was already some vulgarity on the gazebo to begin with. All right.
Yeah, people can write stuff or draw stuff. It's going to be dicks and
exactly. Exactly. Now it was a big hit, and I guess near the end of the road and everything, some Karen who some of my friends believe was already a regular of the gazebo to begin with, decided to suggest to the dean that, oh, there's so much vulgarity on the gazebo and everything, especially that one elf character. They were being very specific about it, and they had the gazebo sanded it down and everything.
Oh my God.
That's awful.
Yes,
That
I know.
is awful. I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
people of the interwebs, if you know who this person was, put their names in the comments. I'm just saying, if you happen to like, oh, I
not that
went
we're
to
gonna
that
go after-
college. Oh, and that was Barbara Smith and so or whatever.
Oh
Drop
my
the
God.
names in the comments. Just throw it there.
So we are coming up at the top of the hour, and I know
my
that we're
God.
getting. I know this is like flown by. Our shows go by. Oh well, thank you. Our shows go by very, very fast, and I don't understand how we get to like the end of the show and we're just like, oh my God, we're right
We
there.
didn't even cover half of. Okay.
We
horror comics. What is your favorite one now?
questions.
I know you have so many questions. What is your favorite one now?
Okay.
Whoever, I don't
The
care.
one now is Deanna of the Dead by William Scarr.
We have a picture of
Okay.
that.
Oh, do it. If
And
we can
you
put
were
it
actually
up.
commenting that his splatterpunk art is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, you said this in the chat.
Wow.
That looks amazing. Okay, so what draws you to this specific comic?
Okay. Basically, he does his own spin on some Lovecraft stories, but instead of some poor sap who's going to end up getting killed or driven crazy, it usually stars his protagonists, Deanna and Beatrice.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
it's more gory than a Lovecraft story. I recommend it.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Jonathan, favorite now?
Favorite now, I'm still stuck in The Walking Dead. Even though it's horror / drama, I'm still stuck. I'm still sucked in.
Didn't you know, Jonathan? That is a drama. No,
I'm sorry.
kidding.
It's
I know,
actually
I know.
survival. It's a survivalist drama littered with zombies.
Which makes it horror. DL, what's yours?
Yes.
That's what I said. That's
Oh.
what I said.
You're absolutely right. No, I agree. I absolutely love The Walking Dead. I didn't really start reading it until the show came out, and I got kind of addicted to the show, and then I wanted to see what the variations were. I'm going to say probably. I have notes.
We had put so many like pictures to pull up and talked about
Oh,
comics
we
before the
did.
show, and
Oh yeah.
we need to have a second one of these. Just throwing that out there. Anyway,
Oh.
what was yours?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we need to do a second one of these.
I need to be a regular guest with you guys.
Well, yeah. Heck yeah. I'm going to say. Wait a minute. Go back.
Someone commented.
It's basically black metal. Harry Potter. I saw that. Okay. All right.
What were they
That's
talking
kinda
about?
awesome. I'm going to say probably my favorite one has been Hellraiser. I love the art of it.
Okay.
And the transition, because what we see in the movies and what we've read in the book are very different. The art in the comic is actually very beautiful. As a matter of fact, Kirsty becomes a hell priestess, and I really desperately want to do a cosplay of this character because it is so stunningly gorgeous. She stands out from anything else that you've ever seen in that kind of environment. It's so beautiful. I am also kind of addicted to I'm on webtoons, and I read webtoons every night, which is like online comics. And I actually even had a line of questions about artists using that, but there's one that was called Witch Creek Road that I was addicted to.
Okay, I'm gonna throw mine up real quick. Okay, I'm gonna make a long story really short by throwing in a trigger warning of unaliving. Anyway, my father was a huge comic book collector. Like, I mean, just cases and cases of comic books. And I was always told that whenever he passed, I would get all of these comic books. Well, fun story, all of his comic books were stolen out of his shed that he had rented. Like, someone broke into it, stole every single one of them, and then he unalived himself. So I got no comics. So for me to buy a comic nowadays is a big thing. It means I really want that dang comic because I'm not huge into them. They remind me of my father. But when I saw Laurel K. Hamilton's Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series done as a comic book,
Yeah,
I bought that. And I read the hell out of it. The art is gorgeous. It is amazing. Laurel K. Hamilton is one of my favorite writers. Fun brag, I'm friends with her on TikTok. Just saying. Off there a bit. Yeah, no. She's gonna watch this later and be like,
Awesome, George.
unfriend.
no,
But that was the one that is my it's like hidden away from my children, so they can't even touch it. That is my favorite horror comic book, and I have more than one, but series, I guess.
And I don't want to say smut again, but you know,
Smut.
Is it smutty? Is it smutty?
It doesn't. Okay, so everyone thinks Laurel K. Hamilton. They're automatically like, oh, smut. There's
a wonderful word.
In the first series, the Anita Blake series. There's not even a spicy scene until book 4 or 5. There isn't.
Really?
There's a lot of tension between characters, and you're like, oh my god, will you two just bang it out already? But up until book 4 or 5, I think it's 5, if I'm remembering correctly, there is no spicy scenes. So the comic books actually start at the beginning of Guilty Pleasures, the first book, and they move their way along. So there's not a lot, actually, surprisingly. If they continue on with it, possibly, but I think they actually stopped making them after I think like after The Laughing Corpse.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one more after that.
Well, I know that we have another show that's jumping on right after us. Normally, we are okay to stick around and talk a little while longer, but I want to. So, Jonathan, if people would like to find you and stalk you on Facebook and see some of these awesome pictures that you're doing, please share. Where can they find you? Or not just Facebook, but just in social media altogether.
TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, my brain is fried today.
Jonathan McDaniel. Jonathan McDaniel, Jonathan with an O at the end.
Jonathan.
I'm just
Jonathan.
Oh, okay, Jonanthon.
Jonanthon.
You said Jonathan with an O at the end, and I was like, Jonanthano.
Jonanthano. It's Italian.
Oh, hi Trinity. Here's. I hear this is somebody very special that you know there. Trinity.
Yeah,
okay.
Trinity just commented. I think he's frozen. He may not be able to hear us. I don't know.
Amazing.
Can I show you something that Jonathan did for me, by the way?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jonathan is a phenomenal.
Sorry.
I know. Yeah. So yes, he does commission art as well. And he does work with a lot of cosplayers. And I highly recommend, if you have never had a piece of art done of you as one of your characters, I highly recommend this. Now, Eli, if they are wanting to reach out to you and find out a little bit more about you, please tell us where they can find you.
Eli.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ew.
Just ew.
Yeah, if people want to find you, befriend you, where would they do so, Eli?
Okay, if they want to interact with me, I mean, I don't really post much art as I should on Facebook, but if you really want to interact with me, it's Facebook. But if you want to support the comic, if you want to support League of Impossibles, I would highly recommend supporting our Patreon.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
And we'll get the details for that Patreon. Put it in the comments in case anyone is interested. Or Eli, actually, you'll know where to find all that the best after us. Can you throw that once we're done with this? Throw that in the comments for people to find.
Yeah, it wasn't. I threw it in the chat earlier. Everything.
Oh
yes. I will. We'll post it up with my apologies. We were having a lot of technical difficulties coming in, so we will post that up in the comments so people can support your
I got it right
support
now.
you. Perfect. We are pretty much having to run. I'm being told that we have to shut it down and go at this point because there's another show coming on. But
Okay,
with that, I'm going to say pleasant screams. Thank you so much. We love having you here. We're not normally running away this fast.
I know.
But,
Usually we get to hang out longer, but
Well,
another
I
time,
know.
y'all, another episode. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a part 2 to this. We have to do a part 2 to this
There
because
was way too
there
much.
was so much.
I know.
And with that said, pleasant screams.
Greetings.
Good night.
Pleasant screams.
Hey,